morning, and it's day 14 of Vlogmas. So last night I got on with the Latvian mittens, and now well, I haven't started it, but I'm about to start on the colour work. So far the beginning is okay. So let's see how I get on with this part now. I mean, I can do the colour work, as you know, with the Barbie crop, but I've never done this type of mitten. I've never done a mitten. I've never done this, so yeah, it's a learning curve, but we have to learn, don't we, these different things. So let's get on to Advent. So I've moved this because of the jigsaw taking up more space now. So let's have a look. There it is. So let's see what we got. Oh, yeah. Might have to lay it down. What have we got? The fudge. There's lots of fudge in here, isn't there? Okay. So let's look at the Burr Street yarns. Number 14. Oh, that's a lovely one. Oh, imagine the leaves like that autumn. You see the gradient in there. That is so pretty. Really pretty. So, oh yeah, look at that with that. Beautiful. Really beautiful. So, jigsaw I completed last night. So let's see what's on 14 today. Whoops. Oh, look. How lovely. Okay. Number 14. Oh, look who's coming. The Tigster. Hello, Tigs. You come to have a nosy? See what the advents are? He was fast asleep on the rocking chair. He says, "You putting the printer on, Mummy?" No. Good boy. Where are you off to, eh? Oh, nothing's coming out the printer. So, Peter Rabbit, day 14. Oops, sorry, Mr. Jeremy Fisher. I'll put you up in a minute. Just sort this. Oh, it's going to come down. Oh, it's Mummy. Right then, now where are they? They're over here, aren't they? I think Mummy should join them. She's checking if they've been up to anything. There we go. Let's pick up Jeremy. There we are. So I also completed Gracie's other leg last night. So I'm going to attach them today and then start on the arms. the applique, I only did a tiny bit of embroidery on there because it was hurting my hands going through the felt. So there won't be a lot done. I'll do a little bit of that. Still haven't done any cross stitch. But we'll just see as the day goes. So I will see you later. Hello, I'm back again. So Eddie, you might hear Eddie snore. He's down the side of me here. I've got Dolly on my lap. Wally at the back, and the two girls here. Flo over there on the cuddle chair. Yes, that would be Dolly. And Tiggy went out about an hour ago, so he'll be back soon. So this is the Mindless shawl that I knitted. And I tell you what, even though it's a 4-ply, I mean, I've worn this before, it is so warm, it really is. I had 3 gifts to wrap upstairs, which I've done, and I've got 2 more which I'm waiting to arrive, and that's the girlies, and then I am wrapped, thank goodness. But as I said, I haven't got the heating on in the craft room because I'm not up there, you know, at the moment with Christmas and that, and I won't put the radiator on because of the heating bills, and this really kept me warm up there, but even though I was hurting, it's really hurt my back now. I need to say 3 and they weren't big prezzies to wrap, so back down again. After this I should do a hot water bottle and put that across my back. So I've done a few bits today, and I'll show you this first. It's all right, Bubba. Dolly, mind where your claws go, love. He doesn't like that, does he? Ooh. Oh. Honestly. So where did I put the picture? There it is. I'm doing the embroidery down here, and then so I'm just watching Dolly, and then I put the windows on top. Why don't you lay over there? Yeah, there's a good girl. So you're away from Eddie, because she's like going to pad him. He doesn't want it, neither would I. Right, just be careful where you put those claws, okay? Because he doesn't like it. So I've done the first row, and I should just be doing a row a day because, say, it really does hurt my hands going through that thickness. But I'm pleased with it. Sorry, Bubba. Oh, she's turned the other way now. You're all right. I just started embroidering. Let me put that bit of paper again. Fashioned. This lovely linen. If anyone's bought a kit from Nikki Franklin, the stitchery, she uses this type, and this was a tablecloth, an old tablecloth that someone was selling on eBay. It had some stains on it, but I managed to get quite a bit off it for embroidery, and I just love it. It's so soft, it's lovely to work with. But yeah, that's what I do like about Nikki Franklin, her linen. It's lovely to stitch. So yeah. So let's see if I can get some more of that done later. Put needle in. Gracie the frog. So I've now attached her legs with the buttons. Oops. There she is. And in the book, they tell you to go through, back, through, then put the button on. But what I normally do is go, yeah, through, back, through. But when I put the button on, I sew it to the leg a bit first, and then I'll go through and do the same with the other button, and then I'll keep on going to put a cross over the button just to make sure it's double secure. I'm thinking I'm gonna unpick this bit here and bring her head down slightly because I don't like the way she's looking up there. I want it like that. So yeah, I'm gonna do that. But other than that, I'm really pleased with how she's looked. She is definitely a frog coming on. So I think I'll do that first. Just yeah, bring it down a little bit, and then I'll start on her arms. And I say then it's the clothing. I'm so excited to do her clothing, and I will show you. I know I showed you after I got it from, well, Beth got it for me from the yarn festival, but yeah, I'll just remind you again because it is so cute. It really is. So on there. And the other thing, the Latvian mittens. Gotta be careful here, there's pets all around me. I don't know if anyone watches the Woolly Mammoth. She has a lovely vlog, really lovely. They've got a beautiful dog called Rufus, but she lives near the sea. But the walks that she does is beautiful. She dyes her own yarn, beautiful yarn and beautiful colours, very rustic, my sort of thing. And she's doing a Vlogmas again this year, and the music is beautiful. Her brother-in-law is the singer of the music. Also her husband, he does gigs, and sometimes the husband joins in there as well, but it's lovely. He's doing the Christmas songs at the moment, and it is I highly recommend you go and watch it, the Woolly Mammoth. And she's doing some, well, she's probably finished them because I've just started watching her vlogs and I'm on 5, and she's doing some mittens, and she did one, it was like a flower design, it's like a Latvian, but she did one within 2-3 nights, one mitten. I mean, it's amazing, but they're so pretty. I'll have to catch who she said the designer is again. Oh, who is it? Reindeer Knits or something like that. But yeah, really pretty. So let's show you. I should have to remember the page number, dolls, shouldn't I? Yeah? What you doing? Oh, thanks, dolls. So I'm doing the pink crocus mittens. Yeah. What page is that? 86. Give Dottie a stroke first. Since she's got older, she loves cuddles now. When she was younger, she'd never do this, but oh, I don't know, the last 6 months she comes and lays on the bed. She comes and lays near me on the bed. And the last couple of days, she's coming to lay on my lap, and it's absolutely lovely. I really love it. She's getting a right old soft pot. But she is really gentle cat. She really, really is. Just like Tiggy, whereas Flo's a bit skitsy. Good girl. Okay, can I show you this mitten? Is that okay? You've got my shawl there. There we go. Right. So I've just started the colour work. And what I like about this is that you do the leaves, then you go on to the pink and leave the green. So I'm not working with 3 colours, which is really, really nice. Dodos. So you can just see the start of the leaves. You can really see the picot now. I've got, this Progress Keeper, it's a few years old. But yeah, it's going really well. And what I've done, which I did the same with the Barbie crop, I just wind a little bit of the colour. And that'll do quite a bit. And it's easier to work with. And I latch as I'm working. This is latched over my thumb, and I pick up when I need that colour. I pick up from that thumb, so it's not getting tangled. It is separated. I have got one of those things you put on your finger, and it's got those little loops to hook the colour in. So far I'm okay. We'll see how we go, but I have got that if I need it. I love it. I absolutely love it. And the wrist size has worked out okay. As I said, I went up a size, and what I thought, when I read it, I thought I needed 2 sets of needles, 1.5s and 2s, but it's not. You use either 1.5 or 2, depending on what gauge you get. So I'm sorry I've given that wrong information. I reread it, and yeah, that's the case. But at least I've got that size there for when I make another pair, and it might come using a different yarn, a different size. So yeah, at least they're there. And the yarn, whoops, just keep the label. Drops Flora, and this was off Etsy. It was on a sale. Okay. Right then. Okay, Christmas at Fairacre, Miss Reed. There is a Facebook page for the Miss Reed books, which I joined, and you know, people put bits in there about the front covers or saying something that reminds them of Miss Reed books. So yeah, if you want to go over there and have a look, they're on Facebook, and if you type in Miss Reed, I'm sure it will come up. So we're on chapter 9. Christmas Day has been and gone. The girls are excited for Christmas, and little Robin, Lovell has done his church service, which they went to. So yeah, it'd probably be now Boxing Day. Yes, Boxing Day. Oh, my other glasses. Oh, honestly. Okay. It was overcast when Miriam awoke next morning. From her bedroom window, she looked out across the flat countryside towards the sea, some 20 miles away. Inky dark clouds were moving in slowly, dwarfing the trees and farmsteads with menacing stature. Already a boisterous wind was blowing, and Miriam predicted storms before long. She only hoped that the rain would hold off long enough for the family to enjoy the meat. They all drove off in high spirits, and Miriam returned from waving goodbye to tackle the worst of the mess. She tidied the larder, ruthlessly throwing away the flotsam and jetsam of the past week, stale bread, ancient scraps of cheese, decaying and unidentifiable morsels on saucers, withered apples and the like. The birds descended in a flock, seagulls among the more usual visitors, and snapped up this bounty. She scrubbed the sink and draining boards, thankful that with all its drawbacks, the vicarage was blessed with plenty of hot water. There was something rather satisfying, she found, in scrubbing the tiles of the kitchen floor. The clean, sweet-smelling wetness, which grew as she retreated backwards from it on her knees, delighted her, and although she doubted if anyone would ever notice the result of her labours, she was content with her small reward of a job well done. That finished, she mounted the steep stairs, manhandling the vacuum sweeper and dusters, and set about the bedrooms. The chaos of the girls' rooms was daunting, and the fact that the dirty linen basket was overflowing was another reminder of work ahead. Really, thought Miriam, dusting vigorously, I should never have made a wife and mother. Looking after Barney from 9 till 5 is more than enough for me. By 12:30 the house looked reasonably tidy, and she skinned the gammon, gave up a fruitless search for the breadcrumbs with which to adorn it, and set the table. It was while she was doing this that she heard the car return and voices in the hall. She emerged from the kitchen to find that Lovell was accompanied by another man. Who could this stranger be? She looked again and hurried forward, smiling. Why, Martin, how lovely to see you again. Brought him back from the meet for a drink, said Lovell, beaming. It must be nearly a year since we met. And more like 10 since I saw Miriam, said Martin, and as elegant as ever. They moved into the sitting room, and the children following. You run and play in the garden for a few minutes, directed Lovell. But we're hungry. When is lunch ready? Can't we have a drink too? The protest came thick and fast. Have an apple each, suggested Miriam diplomatically, and go and practice 2-ball. This solution pleased all, and the adults were left to sip their sherry in peace. It appeared that Martin's Farrer's farm lay some 12 miles on the other side of the market town. Corn mainly and sugar beet, he told Miriam, though I keep a few head of cattle. I'm hoping to have pigs some day too. But tell me your news. Where do you live now? Miriam told him about the job in Caxley and her new home at Holly Lodge. She found herself rattling away. Martin had always been a good listener, she remembered, and was about to enlarge on her interrupted decorating of the sitting room when she remembered Lovell's feelings and checked herself. There we are. I stopped in Cambridge on the journey up, she said instead, and that opened the way to a flood of happy reminiscences. You'll stay to lunch, won't you? Said Lovell. He turned to Miriam anxiously. Is it all right? It's cold turkey, I believe. Quite right, and gammon too, and it will be lovely if you can stop. I'd love to, said Martin. Miriam retired to the kitchen to finish her preparations. She was slightly puzzled. What about Martin's wife? Would she be waiting lunch for him? No mention had been made of her. Perhaps she was away. But at Christmas time, had they parted? Perplexed, she assembled pickles and an unopened giant-sized packet of potato crisps. She put in the oven the batch of mince pies she had made earlier and hoped the cheese board would provide for many empty corners left by the lunch she had prepared. The children ate hungrily, their appetites whetted by the fresh air. As they ate, the first of the raindrops spattered against the window, and the wind began to roar more loudly. "We're in for it, I'm afraid," said Martin. "The glass was going back this morning. As long as we don't get snow, I don't mind." "Do you remember the winter of 1962 and 1963? asked Lovell. "My parents were marooned in the vicarage for 4 weeks, with 8-foot drifts cutting them off. Thank God my mother always did a lot of bottling and preserving. Father said he hoped never to face another bottled gooseberry in his lifetime." "We were just married," said Martin, "and had misjudged the fuel amounts. Binny walked about clutching a hot water bottle all day. It taught us to stock up properly another time." "I was in London," said Miriam. "A bitter waste of brown slush everywhere. Town snow is so much worse than the country snow." After lunch, the little girls elected to paint at the kitchen table, and Miriam left them to enjoy the new paints and painting books while she put Robin to bed and Lovell made coffee. The rain now lashed the house, and Miriam stuffed the towel again into the vulnerable landing window before going downstairs to the fireside. Martin was helping himself to Lovell's brew and surveying the weather. "I ought to be getting back pretty soon. I'm the cattleman this afternoon, and it's going to get dark early today." They sat at peace, enjoying the warmth of the fire and their coffee. Miriam looked at Martin as he gazed somnolently at the blazing logs. He had worn well. His hair was thick, his face tanned with his outdoor life, and he was as lean as he had always been. And yet there was an air of unhappiness about him. Perhaps he felt the same about herself. Perhaps it was simply the passing of the years, the change from the effervescence of the youth to the sobriety of middle age. Middle age. It was a shock to realise that she was halfway to her 70 years and 10. Martin must be nearing 40. He put his cup down in the hearth with a clatter and stretched luxuriously. "Oh, if I could only stay by this fire. Instead, I must go back and bash Swedes." "Do you really bash Swedes?" asked Miriam. "Not today," said Martin with a laugh. "Just feed the cattle with something less demanding." He held out his hand. "Thank you for giving me lunch and for your company. I come your way about twice a year. Perhaps I may call in now I know where you live." "I shall look forward to it." "Well, it may be in a few weeks' time. There's a cattle dealer in Wales I want to see." He made his farewells, and they watched him race through the rain to his Land Rover. The rain was now torrential, and the branches clashed overhead in the force of the gale. But Martin's grin was cheerful as he waved goodbye. "Nice to see him again," said Lovell as they shut the door against the weather. "We lived so near, really, and we were so close friends in the old days. It seems absurd to lose touch as we have done." The fireside was doubly snug after their brush with the weather outside. Peace reigned in the kitchen, and Robin slept aloft. Miriam and Lovell resumed their seats with relief. She lay back, musing about the encounter. It was good to see Martin again. Their early flirtation had been a happy one, and it was comforting to see once again the unfeigned affection and admiration in his looks. She hoped she would see him again when he travelled to Wales next. What is Martin's wife like?" she asked. "Martin's wife?" Lovell looked startled. "Biddy, he called her," said Miriam. Lovell shook his head sadly. "Poor Binny, I should have remembered that you knew nothing about it. She died 2 years ago. Quite that longer, perhaps. I can't remember. How ghastly for Martin. What was it? One of those incredibly stupid accidents that strain one's religious beliefs sourly. She was bathing within a few yards of the shore when a freak wave carried her out to sea, and a sort of whirlpool sucked her under. There was a treacherous current, there always was, we heard later. Was Martin there? He'd gone to fetch towels from the car, and he returned to find the rescue operation going on. The ghastly thing was that the body wasn't washed up until the next tide. Poor Martin, and no children. There was one on the way, which made it worse, of course. I heard Martin was in an appalling state of shock for months. His old mother was a tower of strength and went to live at the farm with him. I remember her, replied Miriam, recalling the ramrod figure of Mrs. Farrar. Her white hair, her deep voice, dreadful for her too. Anyway, said Lovell, he seems to have recovered, and let's hope he may find someone else one day. That's Robin, exclaimed Miriam at the sound of a distant wailing, and she went to resume her duties. She travelled alone to see Eileen that evening, Lovell volunteering to see his family into bed. As she drove through the roaring night, buffeted by a fierce northeaster, she suddenly remembered that she had still forgotten to telephone Joan. Martin's arrival had put it out of her head. Lovell's account of Martin's tragedy had moved her deeply. Why did these things have to happen? Lovell's comment about the strain on one's religious beliefs in the face of such senseless horror was understandable. If he, so secure and ardent in his faith, could feel thus, how easy it was to forgive weaker souls who were turned against their religion in such circumstances. Martin appeared to have weathered his own storm remarkably well. Possibly the fact that his work must go on in the rain or shine that had helped him through the worst. She was glad she knew it about it, if she were to see him in the future. When she had said that she would look forward to seeing him again, she had spoken from her heart. Eileen was wearing the new black nightgown and looked prettier than ever. She was in good spirits. I ought to know very soon if I'm coming home next week, she told Miriam. How I long for it. Tell me, how are you managing? Miriam told her the scraps of news, how helpful the children had been, how she introduced them to Tubal, how beautiful the church had looked decked for Christmas, and finally, how Lovell had brought Martin to lunch. Eileen's face lit up. I'm so glad. We feel so terribly sorry for him, and we wish we saw more of him. He ought to marry again. He's such a dear. She looked at Miriam with such an openly speculative eye that it was impossible not to laugh. Eileen laughed too, which was such infectious gaiety that the woman in the next bed, she's as good as a tonic, is Mrs. Quinn. It was then that Miriam suddenly realised that here was a new neighbour. Mrs. White, of the grey, sad countenance, had gone. It seemed to a colder bed under the Norfolk sky. I'm not really matchmaking, said Eileen lightly. I should hope not, replied Miriam. Tell me, how did Christmas Day go in here? Eileen was willing to be deflected from the subject of Martin, much to Miriam's relief, and launched into a spirited account of the chief surgeon's prowess in turkey carving, the morning carols, and the visit of the mayor and his Retian. I don't know if I spelled that right. Miriam stayed later than she attended, revelling in Eileen's racy descriptions and the undoubted fact that she seemed stronger and more relaxed after a few days in hospital. You'll have Annie back on Monday, said Eileen as they said goodbye, and with any luck I'll be home very soon after. We'll have a grand celebration, promised Miriam, fastening her coat before leaving the warmth of the wall to face the gals outside. So next we'll be on chapter 10, which is the last chapter, and page 111. So there we are. Okay, so I forgot to ask, is anyone doing a Christmas Eve cast on, or crochet, or anything needs sewing or cross stitch? Let me know, it'd be lovely to know. I haven't really thought about anything for Christmas Eve. Yeah, what we're doing Hook Run Hollow on New Year's Day, and the embroidery of Kathy Smith's. I mean, I could start the socks, but I'm not sure if that'd be naughty, because as I say, I've started these mittens. There's the crochet blanket from the Advent, so I'll have a think, we'll see. I just don't want to put too much in my basket and have too much at the go at once, so I might complete something and then think about starting the socks. So we'll see. There's enough cross in this house to have a think about. So there's no worry there. So I hope you've enjoyed this story, and I hope you enjoyed the end of it tomorrow. I can't believe how quickly that's gone. So I will see you in the morning. Take care. Thank you for watching. Bye.